Hi, so in this video, I'll cover how you can make Tuftung AI agent use browser tool in order to demo your product, a SaaS application, a dashboard. This is one of the popular use cases of Tuftung AI where it can behave as an AI SDR on your website and do the demo. So maybe let me start with how this works on our website. So I'll just go to our website, go to join live demo. So in this case, what we do is that we ask for a name and email, which I'll just get here. And we also say that you could allow human representative, which gives a permission for me, for example, to join and help. And then once you join, the agent would also join here as a participant.
Hi, Ajitesh. I'm Paris. Yes, I'm an AI giving you a demo of an AI platform. That's the world we live in. But before I start fangirling over my own platform, what brings you here today?
Yes, so I'm looking to build an SDR, a sales development representative. Is that possible?
Absolutely. That's right in our wheelhouse. You want to build an SDR agent. Perfect. Let me frame the demo around 3 pillars: create, interact, and deploy. We'll first show you how to create the agent, then how you can interact with it, and finally how to deploy it out in the wild. Ready for the first step? Here's
Yes.
the homepage. You're seeing a gallery of working agents. The
Okay.
AI SDR,
Can we
the AI sales
directly
agent, meeting assistant.
can we directly jump to the create page?
Boom, we're on the create page, and I'm seeing the magic layout. On the left, we've got the Omni box where you describe your agent in plain English. On the right, you can pick your agent's avatar, voice, tools, and
I
knowledge
see.
base.
And can
You
you
can set
also
up
show
sales
me
development.
what is in the scenario library?
Here we are in the scenario library. Let me paint the picture. Up top, we've got rows of ready-to-remix agents. Think SDRs like the Meridian Wealth Warm Lead Outreach Agent.
So I'll pause it here. So this was an example of agent, and at some places we have given agent some freedom, like to go here and to control the flow. In other places, I have guarded it. So in order to help you create this agent, the first step that I will ask you to do is to connect to ChatGPT and Claude. So because this is one of the most complex workflow in our application, it will likely require you to iterate with an agent. And for that, if you are building in somewhere where the agent already has a browser, it's really important. So either use like Codex or Claude. These are generally a good place for you to get started and use a powerful model. So for example, I will use Claude. So I'll go to connect via Claude in this case, and I have to go to plugins and I have to go to add here, add to marketplace. Add to marketplace. And then there is this link that I have to just go and copy. Now, why I'm copying this link, as it's doing, I can explain to you. So we have written the whole skills file and MCP for agent to do really good job of creating demos. For example, if I go to the skills folder here, there is a browser demo builder. So it has a reference file on how it could create steps and other things in order to create a good quality browser demo. And that's why it's important for you to use this. Now let me connect. So it's already connected, and I'll just go here. I will see that go to connectors. So connector is also connected. So everything I'm set, you might have to do a bit extra here. So a couple of things before I get started here is, in the case of building an agent, you have to paint a picture first that what is the storyline that SDR has to do. In our case, the simple storyline that we kept was that it has to walk through the experience of create, interact, which is the experience when someone interacts with it, and then finally is deploy. Learn experience, that is analysis and all that happens. And then we have given that at what page is what idea, so that it does not has to think much. Our agent has a very powerful set of tools, like it has a browser in the server, and it can go to a particular step, it can go to a URL, it can take a snapshot, it can observe all the HTML element and then act on a particular one, click there. But if you give it a lot of degrees of freedom, like all three, to determine that, it takes a lot of work for the agent, like doing a screenshot and receiving it back and then taking all the action can lead to latency. And also it has to wait for this data to come back, so that you leave room for hallucination. And that's why being very careful, or being carefully providing it all the information on what it needs to do, what is the next step, can make your demo really low latency and useful. Now, one thing I sort of glossed over was that when creating the demo, you are using in the tool section the browser tool here. And when you do browser tool, the first you also need to start the session and then add your link and there so that it has credentials to log in, and we store the credential locally so that the agent can use it later. But if the first time you attach, you have to open the view session, and sometimes it opens as a blank. So what you need to do is to copy the URL, paste it here, and make sure that you log in once so that it has the sandbox credential that it will use. Now in the browser tool, instead of just giving it commands and storyline, I also provided a second layer of things which makes it much more faster. That is, I provided the pre-recorded steps. So what are these pre-recorded steps? So in the pre-recorded steps, we exactly tell our agent that what are the XML elements that it has to click, or it has to scroll to or fill. Let's say there are text fields. If you ask live agent to capture and fill and control everything, it takes a lot of time. But if you give it in a form of a pre-recorded step, it becomes a lot more faster and easier for the agent to do. So if you have a really dynamic demo that you want the agent to do, so make sure that you are defining this pre-recorded step. Now for you to go and manually find all these steps can be really challenging, and that's where Claude connection and using a browser skill is really helpful. So the purpose of this demo, we will make it do the demo for this Radio Flyer website, which I think is a simple enough website that it should do a good job. So create a demo for this website using Tap10 AI browser skill, and make sure to create steps. Something like that you could write. So it will do its thing. It will ask me a couple of questions. It figured out that it has to read through the skill, that demo format, and it also read through like selector guide, how to harvest selectors. It is listing organization. Now, most of the time I have done this from Cursor or Claude SDK, Claude on the terminal. So in both cases, they have Cursor, for example, has a really good browser and it does this really well. So if you have used Cursor, I'll recommend using that. If you have not used Cursor, then Claude can be a good alternative in that case. So it's saying that it is harvesting stable selector from ReadyFlyer. Sorry, it's doing for ReadyFlyer, so it should be able to find what it needs. So it went to here, look at all the things. It found completed certain task. Now it's updating. Now it's on the second step, which is creating the scenario. So it is creating the scenario. If you see here, we'll just scroll through it. So if you see, it found the XML element and other to do that. So this will is scaling really fast, but I will not be very hopeful of the end outcome of this. I'll try it out and I will repeat it, make sure that it's putting the right element. I'll also put in the story so that as it's doing the thing or explaining the product, it has something to talk and speak to user. So try it out. Let us know if you have any question in the comment. Thank you so much.